أهلا بكم. يؤكد اهتمام الجميع بإكسبو دبي أنه المنصة الأكبر لتلاقي الدول وكبريات الشركات الدولية. إكسبو دبي فضاء رحب لعرض حاضر الابتكار البشري ورسم المستقبل. دبي مدينة الأخوة والانفتاح، تريده أيضا أرضية للتبادل الثقافي. وقبل الإكسبو وبعده كانت دبي محط أنظار المستثمرين من مشارق الأرض ومغاربها، كانت مستقر أهم وأكبر مجالس الأعمال. في هذه الحلقة من برنامج إكسبو يجمعنا سنرافق رئيس مجلس الأعمال الأسترالي كارل دولينغ، سيحدثنا عن عقود من الاستثمار وإدارة الأعمال مع دبي وفي دبي. نحن الآن في منطقة دو بوينت في بالم جميرة، هذا المكان اختاره ضيفنا لنبدأ معه ومنها رحلتنا في دبي الجميلة باتجاه أرضيات إكسبو. المفروض أننا نلتقي الآن مع كارل، وكارل هنا. مرحبا بك كارل. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, thank you. Great.
How's everything?
Very good, thank you.
You came with the easy taxi. That is nice also. The Australians love the beach, right?
Yes, I think obsession would be the best word to describe it.
One of the reasons why you chose this area.
Well, this, besides the view,
yeah, it's beautiful.
Sorry to say it, but this is actually a bit of a sign of my journey to Dubai. The reason
Really?
why, I moved here 14 years ago.
That is nice.
And it became a large chunk of my life.
You have something to show us as well.
Yeah, we don't do it by halves. So
okay,
we've got to take
we'll
you
go.
upstairs.
Myself, the viewers, and the crew will follow you. Let's
yes,
go.
Please.
Let's go. That is really nice, Carl. I love it.
That's a view.
Very nice. Now you have to tell us why we are here.
Well, this is essentially where my journey began, coming to Dubai. 2006, I saw a documentary. This place I'd never heard of was building an island in the shape of a palm tree. What on earth? It blew me away, and it just stuck with me. And it just made me look at what is this city in the middle of the desert, in the middle of nowhere, and how are they building it?
And that was Dubai?
Yeah, Dubai. Captured my attention and almost couldn't get rid of it. Here I am now.
That was in...
2006.
Oh.
So there's a fair chunk of my life spent here now. It's a part of my life.
That made you decide to move here. I'm curious, what were the other options to move on and start your journey and your career outside Australia?
Well, the rite of passage for your typical Australian is to go to the UK. That's the age-old, most common route. Others could go to Singapore, Hong Kong, or potentially the US. But I did want to go somewhere a little bit off the beaten track, and a little bit new. Dubai was entering the world stage in a big way. The Burj Al Arab had been built. It was really getting a lot of attention, and ergo, a simple documentary about building the palm, and look what they've built today.
It's getting bigger and better and prettier every day, and this palm is now 20 years old. Can you believe it?
Unbelievable.
It's beautiful. Now, I know that we are on front of the fountain of the point. It is the biggest fountain in the sea in the world, and Guinness Book says that. You said you have a surprise for us?
Yes.
That is the surprise!
Dubai doesn't do it by halves.
Amazing! Oh, I love
watch.
it. أهلا بكم من جديد. إكسبو يجمعنا اليوم مع رئيس مجلس الأعمال الأسترالي كارل دولين. كارل, well, that is a fascinating story you have. You told us about earlier today. 15 years ago, you came to Dubai based on one documentary about the palm and how it was built. When you came here at first, what did you expect? How did you come?
It was a bit of a risk, but I'm glad I took it. So I came with a one-way ticket, so I didn't book a return. I had one job interview. Through a friend of a friend, I'd found a place to stay for my first week. And my second day in Dubai, I went for the job interview and...
Tell me you got it.
I got it. I got it.
Really? That is a risk, but a beautiful risk you took. Oh.
Yeah, I'm glad I took it without hesitation.
Then you started your journey here. When did you really decide and felt this is the place to be, Dubai?
Within the first couple of months, easily. It was been 2 or 3 months in. I already found that it's a place that I could stay for at least medium long term. It just, you feel at home. Dubai welcomes the world, to its stage, and it was very easy to find roots, find friends. Work was great, and yeah, just kind of expanded my life within the first couple of months.
You didn't only settle with working as an employee in a company, right? Because now you expanded and you created your own company.
Yes.
That is another risk you took?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was 6 years in. So I'd been working, living here for 6 years, and the opportunity came up. I couldn't say no. I saw, as they say, that the gap in the market, and yeah, took the plunge. Did what many others do that first year, where you've just got to grind it and really just find your feet and make it work. And yeah, 6, 7 years on now, we've very proudly got a nice team of people. We support individuals that also want to live and work in Dubai, and they in turn support their families. It's been a great journey.
Went from an employee to an entrepreneur to a chairman of the Business Council. How did you thought that you can lead such an important business council or entity that link your country to Dubai? UAE.
I only took the role as chair based on an understanding that I would have the support of the board with me. I've been very lucky. My tenure as chair has been a fantastic opportunity. Just the Australian UAE markets are so closely related across a number of factors, and the Business Council itself has been operating for 26 years. It is well rooted in the community. It has helped so many Australians find jobs, help escalate their business. So it's been an honour to sit in that role, but only through the support of the board.
We'll talk more about the Business Council and its mission, its vision, and what they do, what the Business Council does when we go to your office later on. It's known that Australia, it's a country of camels, same like UAE. The difference is that the camels in Australia are wild animals, but here in UAE and in the Arab world, we love them. They are very, very friendly. Does your perception about camels changed when you came here?
Yeah, definitely. It was one of those moments as a kid in the outback of Australia. I went on a camel ride when I was younger, and so here it kind of bridged the gap. Just seeing the animal here as well, and of course this is its natural habitat. So yeah, it's been great, and it does have that feeling of home, and it's a childhood memory for me.
True. When is moments that you felt really proud, memorable moment that you cannot forget here in UAE and in Dubai?
I would have to say when I was elected chair of the Australian Business Council, it has been a great honour. It is a not-for-profit. Our purpose is just to help other Australians find their feet and develop those trade relations. So that was a pivotal moment. But I think anyone that has set up a business, Dubai or anywhere in the world, when you hire that first employee. So I went from doing something I love to support myself to actually supporting someone else. He had a wife, he had a family. So to create a platform that can help him feed his child, put him through school, and essentially have a safe, secure future, that really changed me, and that was one of my proudest moments.
Oh, nice. In UAE is the home of the ninth largest overseas Australian community in the world, with around 16,000 Australians lives here in UAE. What attracts them to settle in UAE?
Foundation level, you need a beach.
That is true.
That's the foundation. So I think the prerequisite is cleared there from Dubai's standing point. But I think Dubai has naturally, with Dubai and the UAE, two large airlines operating. There are a lot of Australians that work for both airlines here, predominantly Emirates, of course. But on top of that, we were blessed to have the Emirates-Qantas relationship develop a number of years ago. And Australians follow the Flying Kangaroo. We will always follow where Qantas goes. So having Qantas come through Dubai for the years we had it was a great blessing. It really put Dubai on the stage for Australia.
Dubai is cosmopolitan. There are more than 200 nationalities in UAE in general. Is it easy to adapt?
Yes. Dubai is a global community. It has its own heritage, it has its own customs, and the deeper you go into the traditions and customs, it's fantastic to get a feeling for the culture. But it also gives everyone else the platform they need. So Australia Day is a big event here, and we're so lucky to have a community where they do want every nationality to celebrate what it brings to the stage.
Thank you for bringing us here to the point. It's very nice. I myself, I come for relaxing, but as well sometimes for business meeting, for work. Do you do that?
I'm not lucky enough to live close to here, so this is definitely more of the leisure. So we're coming here for dinner tonight.
Oh, that is nice. There are many restaurants, and it's beautiful. And if you see the fountain by night, it is just fantastic. I love it. And you see people are here since this morning walking around, and it's a beautiful city. It's a beautiful area as well. Thank you for bringing us here. How about we go to your office?
Yes, please.
Let's talk about trade. Let's talk about the Australian Business Council, and we'll be more formal. This is casual, so yes. Let's go. مرحبا بكم من جديد. إكسبو يجمعنا، ومكاتب مجلس الأعمال الأسترالي يجمعنا الآن في مواصلة لحوار مع رئيسه السيد كارل دولينغ. Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you
We
for
are
coming.
here in your offices.
Yes, thank you for
that
joining.
is very casual and very nice, actually.
Very Australian.
Very Australian.
Yeah.
So the Business Council was created in 1994. That is very early, actually. How can you describe its mission and how it evolved over the years?
Well, we're very lucky. The council was initially formed through a collaboration between our consulate and the community. They saw a need to have an organisation outside, of course, of the consulate that helped organise events just to ensure Australians get connected and the businesses have an opportunity to network and find their own success. So in 1994, I mean, there's quite a long way back in UAE history. We was very lucky that the University of Wollongong was actually founded just at the same time. So our relationship started with the university quite early, and that really set the tone. Since its inception, we've fast gone from just a business-centric community to more of a holistic community association. So we do help some of our local football leagues also operate in the UAE and just bring that flavour from home. How
many members do you have for today?
Approximately 500 at the moment.
Okay. Yes. What is tempting for them to join the Australian Business Council?
It's several factors. I believe a lot of members join because they want to help the business community themselves. They may have found their own success, created roots here, and they want to help others find the same success and don't fall foul of not understanding local culture, not understanding what opportunities are lying out there. So you have the individual that looks at the opportunity to network and connect with like-minded Australians. But you also have businesses set up. So a business like my own, I look at the Business Council as an opportunity to let other Australians and their connections know we're here, we've taken the plunge. If you want help, lean on us, but vice versa. If you can help us grow, great. So it's about creating a networking community.
Yeah, but that is a great network. And you mentor, of course, all the new coming to the Business Council or to UAE.
Yes. It's a large part of our exercises. So this is we're very lucky to work closely with our embassy and consulate in the UAE. We do help a lot of businesses just find their feet on the ground. And that's a multifaceted approach. It goes from helping with companies setting up, just providing guidance and advice, or from a personal nature, where do you go to open a bank account? What can I do about a visa?
Ah, that's nice. Of course, as a business council, and like all the other business council in UAE, you work under the umbrella of Dubai Chambers. How is this alliance between both of you?
We've been very fortunate to have Dubai Chamber as the governing authority for the Business Council. They've been a fantastic supporter from day one, and I really hold the team up so highly there. We actually had an ex-Dubai Chamber member as part of our board up until recently. So that's been a fantastic base for us to have. They hold regular catch-ups with all the business groups in Dubai to update on local legislation that may be getting introduced, and also they have an open forum for us to give feedback, and that's invaluable for a business community to be able to liaise directly with local government and have a two-way street for feedback.
Besides yourself, do you recall any good, nice, successful story here in UAE from the Australian Business Council?
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt. And there are those that have had an amazing success, but there are also a lot of Australians that have had very good success stories here, but may not have been in the news, so to speak. I mean, one person notably would be Donna Benton. She created what was, I believe, the UAE's largest loyalty program, The Entertainer. And she built it up over the best part of a decade. And
I'm a member of it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think it's a rite of passage when you enter the UAE, you get The Entertainer.
Very good idea.
Fantastic.
I didn't know she's Australian. Okay.
Yeah, but it's not just a great business opportunity for her, but it helped Dubai.
True.
The trade flow from The Entertainer was massive. It always has been. But then you also have, of course, the restaurant F&B winners. So we've had Tom and Serge, one of the founders is, of course, a very avid Australian from Melbourne. So he knows his coffee, and you can very, I would say, proudly say that Tom and Serge created a new dining scene in Dubai, a very casual, rustic setting where you can come in and enjoy good food, good coffee as a family. And they've been great success stories. And there's been many others to date, but definitely two that really at the tip of the tongue.
The non-oil trade between the UAE and Australia amounted of $14.5 billion. What helped the ties between the both countries to grow stronger?
I think it starts with the alignment of investment attitude. The UAE and Australia have very similar attitudes. That it's open to business, open to investment in both directions. They want to collaborate. Australia is looking to encourage investors to go to Australia. The UAE just the same. So the bilateral trade's always been strong based on that foundation. Now, around that, I think the sectors that we've really seen grow significantly in the last 3 to 5 years have been healthcare. Education is always a big one. We have numerous, 3 or 4 Australian universities in Dubai now, and food. So we have a lot of top quality food in Australia that's slowly but surely making its way to the UAE and through Dubai and the UAE to the greater GCC market. So it's a balancing pad essentially for the region.
Beside those sectors, what do you think other sectors could be enhanced and developed from Australia to UAE?
Where can we start? There's quite a few. I mean, we are kings of efficiency. We do like to develop tech, develop solutions that really increase efficiency levels. So that's where I meet a lot of Australians and Australian companies that are coming here looking to introduce their services. So I think that's going to filter through as Dubai becomes a more competitive market. It will grow and grow as Dubai emerges more into the future. But around that, I know there is a large healthcare push as the systems again grow and emerge here. There's a lot of Australian businesses that can help Dubai by providing a unique solution. And again, very much based on efficiency.
How the Business Council helped maybe to attract more investors? What do you do? What is your approach? You go there and you bring them, or you wait for them here to encourage them?
Both. So we work very collaboratively with our, you could say, brother and sisterly organisations. So we work with the Australian Arab Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Australia. Mm-hmm. So we work together to encourage trade in both directions. We also work very closely with the Australian business groups throughout the Middle East. Part of that process is to remove barriers for information, barriers that will essentially prohibit or inhibit someone looking to trade in the region. But around that, we then work locally to ensure that any Australian business looking at entering the region can go through the Business Council to source local connections. So we have a very close relationship with the Dubai Foreign Direct Investment team and many of the local ministries, so we can help our members break through the barriers and get the right information as quickly as possible.
From all your experience, is it easy to establish a business in Dubai?
Yes. It leaps and bounds in the last 5 to 10 years. It's amazing how quickly Dubai can solve a problem. And just it's grown too quickly. You could argue, like, how has this city grown to the size it has in such a short time? I think everyone knows when you leave Dubai for 2 weeks, you come back, you'll be lost driving because there'll be a new road, there'll be a new bridge. Yeah. But as they've grown very quickly, they have developed very clean and efficient licensing systems. So it is very easy to set up a business here and take up the opportunity.
You know, it is the UAE and Australia have maintained diplomatic ties and relations since 1975. So very early with the establishment of the UAE, and they have strengthened their ties and friendship between their people, in addition to commercial, tourism, investment relations, like you said. What does it mean for you that the UAE is Australia's first partner in the Middle East?
It says a lot about that common attitude that we have, and just the grassroots of the UAE. Again, the UAE is so open. It wants the global stage, just essentially in what is a small area. It wants to give a platform for all nationalities. So very much like Australia, we want to invite anyone from all walks of life to come there and absorb their culture and what they know and help build ourselves up based on that diversity. That's the way the UAE has always built itself.
I asked you when we were on the point about how Australians adapt to live with 200 nationalities. Let me ask this in a different way. You have 200 nationalities from all the region and countries and continent in one city. Now, how does that help you in making a marketing for Australia?
That's a great point. It gives us such an opportunity to show the world what Australia is capable of. And that's where Expo plays a big part. It is one project that really opens Australia up to all those nationalities in a very unique space and time. So it's, again, Dubai and the UAE has created such a unique development where 90% of the population are not local. 90% come from one of the 200 other countries. So when Australia has a far lower percentage, we can actually learn a lot by how the UAE keeps that diversification active. Yes. And that's how we can reap the benefits.
Did you see the pavilion, Australian pavilion? I saw it only on pictures. Did you visit it?
Yes.
Okay.
We're very lucky to be, I believe, one of the first pavilions ready for use. And on Australia Day, very patriotically, we did have a flag raising ceremony at the pavilion, and it was absolutely awesome to see it. up live in person, not a model on a table.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic, and it really says a lot about Australia.
I'm looking forward to see it. We will go now to our third location to discover with you, with the viewers, all the beautiful themes that are in the Australian pavilion. Should we go?
Yes.
Yes, let's go. وهكذا وصلنا إلى إكسبو وبالتحديد إلى جناح أستراليا. Welcome to your pavilion, or you welcome us, Carl, to your pavilion.
Absolutely. It's here for everyone to share.
So, Blue Sky Dreaming, what is this name? Where did it come from?
They couldn't have picked a better name. It really amalgamates two big iconic moments when you visit Australia. One, it's just the beautiful blue sky. It's a very big country, we have a lot of land, but it doesn't matter where you are, you've always got a nice, big, beautiful blue sky. And the dreaming reference is very emotional for a lot of Australians, as the Aboriginal Australians are the longest standing inhabitants in the world, 60,000 plus years of history, and we embrace that culture, and it's something that is deep rooted throughout all of Australia. So combining the two really means a lot.
I have to say something. When we were coming here to the pavilion, of course, you were admiring the big flag, and as well, you were admiring the eucalyptus. Why does it mean something to you, this tree specifically?
Australians are very connected to nature. So throughout our schooling life, we have a lot of trips out to learn about, the native flowers, plants, but also animals. So we're very connected to the land. And the eucalyptus tree is just synonymous with that feeling of going for a bushwalk, going out into nature, and it's the smell, it just encapsulates you. And of course, it's the native home to our koala bear, which is also a main driver for many visitors to Australia.
That is nice. We can see the greenery as well, and it's going to improve in the pavilion, even though it's still construction as well, but is one of the most finished actually for now as pavilion. Tell me why it is important for Australia to be present in this expo with this pavilion specifically.
Well, it was an opportunity we couldn't miss out on. From the moment Dubai was showing its aspirations to win the Expo bid, Australia really couldn't miss the opportunity to just be part of the global stage. We are open to investment. We are open to sharing our knowledge, sharing our expertise, and it's a two-way street. So it was very important, and I believe we signed up very early in the process just to show our commitment. And it's a commitment to the UAE just as much as it is a commitment to the world.
What is your message to the world actually through this pavilion?
Come and experience Australia. Come and see a little bit of not just what we have to offer in terms of commerce, in terms of technology, but the culture. And there's several layers that you can go deep down, and the pavilion does a great job at showing how deep it can go, and especially drawing on the Aboriginal heritage and our connection to the land. It's something which you can't read about, it's something that needs to be experienced.
What is the exceptional thing about the pavilion? You know it as a mock-up, you know it now, it's built up, almost finished. What is exceptional about it?
Oh, that's tough to pick. The fantastic canopy that we have and this wide open space really epitomises Australia. We're lucky to have such an abundant amount of land that you can really find your own space. So I think that symbolises what Australia has to offer. But inside there are a few trade secrets yet to be uncovered, but it really draws down on our technical expertise and can show just what we can do, just what we're capable of.
Almost every year there are around 340,000 Australians come to UAE as tourists. You think there will be, I know the condition of COVID, but there will be a big number of tourists, they want to see Expo and this pavilion as well?
Yes. I do strongly believe Expo is going to bring a lot of Australians out of the country. The Expo is the first major event on the global stage post-COVID. So I think there are going to be a lot of people that are keen to travel. And what COVID has taught us is that it's much easier to enter new jurisdictions, new markets, without that age-old barrier of just travelling every single trip. They can reach out now through webinars, they can get information online. So I think the opportunity is really going to see more than just what is expected in year 1, but year 2, 3, 4.
How this pavilion will show the richness, the diversity of Australia, which is actually similar to the diversity and the richness of the culture in UAE as well.
That, I think, is twofold. I think they're, again, drawing down on our Aboriginal heritage and just paying respect to the traditional owners of the land in Australia. That is just so deeply embedded in the pavilion and all the experiences within. I think that's going to really pull a lot of visitors in to see that we have those layers, come in and experience just how far it can go. Again, just like with the UAE, you have, of course, the global stage, but it has its own heritage, and the deeper you go, more fascinating it can become.
What do you think this Expo will give opportunity for businesses and investment all over the world post-COVID?
An unimaginable opportunity to miss, only because you have such an easy access point, not to just showing off your expertise, showing off your technology as an Australian business in a pavilion, but actually just walking next door, going to 10, 20 pavilions in a single day, developing your network and contacts. And that's seeing every single country from the world, but along with the UAE and what it's got to offer in its own pavilion.
What do you think the legacy that will be left for the world and for UAE after this Expo?
I think a lot of cultural barriers are going to get knocked down, not just Australia, not just UAE, but around the world. I think it's such a grand scale of an event that you're going to see visitors seeing or exposing themselves to countries that they've never experienced before and understanding what there is to offer in such a detailed scale. I think you will find individuals opening up their passion for exploration far more than we've ever seen. And again, Dubai is just the perfect stage for it.
Let's make like a promise. We would come when the pavilion is all ready to see it and discover it all together and see all those messages, but in real, inside and outside of this pavilion. Promise?
Absolutely. Very Can't wait for it.
شكرا جزيلا لك. Thank you very much, Carl Doling, the chairman of Australian Business Council, for this adventure, amazing adventure. شكرا لكم جزيلا مشاهدينا على متابعتنا في إكسبو يجمعنا. على أن نلتقي طبعا في حلقات قادمة مع أجنحة أخرى في إكسبو.